You're watching Unlocking the Vault on Mtgo Academy, featuring Enderfall.
Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to Unlocking the Vault. It's been a while since I've been able to bring you some video coverage of Vintage, but I am here this week to talk about Grixis Control. Now this is a very powerful deck that has a lot of flexible options towards dealing with different threats in the metagame, and particularly the reason why I enjoy this deck over some of the other control decks in the format is simply because the ability to have Dark Confidant and Snapcaster Mage, along with the powerful Planeswalkers that you see here, give this deck a little bit of reach. In the past, I had been really down on Dark Confidant. There's just such a huge amount of Pyromancer decks, Delver Pyromancer decks specifically. There's been a lot of Storm Pyromancer decks lately, but particularly the blue-red Delver Young Pyromancer decks, which pack 4 Lightning Bolts in the main deck. There's such a large amount of those, as well as just general creature removal, that it makes Dark Confidant a little bit of a liability. But this deck has enough permission to allow you to hopefully keep Dark Confidant around. That particularly is in the presence of a complete playset of Mental Misstep, as well as Spell Pierce and Spell Snare. So this deck can protect Dark Confidant quite well, and it generally will take about 2 to 3 turns with Dark Confidant in play before you can really start to take over the game. But if you can get him to stick around, he's such a valuable tool. And against a lot of the other control decks in the format that are not playing very many creatures, Dark Confidant, if you can get it to stick, is really powerful. It can kill Planeswalkers that your opponent might be able to play, that can slow you down or even stop what you're doing. And it can also just beat down for 2 every turn, and that adds up after about 3 or 4 turns when they're constantly taking damage from their Mental Missteps and Force of Wills, fetch lands, and what have you. And if they're a combo deck with Gushbond combo deck, they can't actively use Fast Bond to its fullest potential if their life total is at 8 when they're on the turn that they want to go off. And against some of the other creature decks that might have threats, this deck has 3 Lightning Bolts to kind of clear the way for Dark Confidant, or Snapcaster Mage for that matter. So this deck gives you quite a bit of options. One of the things I do also like about this is it gives you the ability to play with as many restricted cards as possible. One of the common things that a lot of the pros have been saying, especially for the Vintage Super League, is to play as many restricted cards as you can, and this deck gets to play with a bunch of them. Obviously you get to play with the full play set of Moxes and Black Lotus, but you also get Ancestral Recall, Brainstorm, Mystical Tutor, Ponder, Sol Ring, Time Walk, Time Vault, Tinker, Yawgmoth's Will. So you get to play with a whole bunch of cards that are just frankly broken in Vintage, as well as Tolarian Academy and Library of Alexandria from your mana base too, not to forget those. So this deck really gives you a lot of flexibility, and the sideboard options, while not quite as good if you were to dip into white, are still pretty powerful. This is the deck that I'm going to start jamming some 2-man queues with. This sideboard is sort of a work in progress. It's not necessarily set in stone, and you can certainly change it up to however you feel is necessary. But I think this combination gives me some pretty good options in the metagame against Oath in graveyard decks. Grafdigger's Cage can come in handy now. Spellbomb is a pretty decent option for Dredge, as well as giving you a card. And there's also matchups where it's certainly relevant against other Yawgmoth's Will decks, the Goblin Wilder Slaver decks as well. This is pretty good against Storm and other control decks. Flusterstorm and Pyroblast are pretty good one-ofs. I haven't been playing many workshop decks leading into this bunch of two-man games. A lot of the tournament practice room games that I've been playing with this deck have not featured very many workshop decks, but in theory, Vandal Blast with Mana Drain is a pretty powerful card, as you can overload it if you can get a couple of lands in play and stick them. You can usually 2 or 3 for 1, then maybe even more later in the game if you can survive that far. I like Ixalan Jailer against the graveyard deck, specifically Dredge as well. It's a nice card to have, and with Moxen, it's reasonably often that you get to play this on turn 1. If you get this in your opening hand, which is pretty powerful, and a two powered body is also pretty relevant. Rakdos Charm is kind of an interesting option. It has a significant amount of flexibility, which is a great feature for a sideboard card, and it's something that most people won't really expect. The reason why I chose this card is that it can fight graveyard decks. It's a card that they will never probably Cabal Therapy for, unless they've already seen it. Against workshop decks, you can destroy an artifact, and it's 2 casting cost, dodges Chalice of the Void on 1, which is pretty popular for them. So something like Smelt or any of those types of options wouldn't work very well. In addition to that, I have a trio set of Ingot Chewers, which are pretty good as well. But the other reason why I chose this, which is more specific, is the sheer number of Pyromancer decks that are running around. I was able to kill somebody last night with this when they had a lethal Lightning Bolt on the stack against me. They created the last token that I needed to do exactly 14 damage to them. Which killed them with lethal on the stack, which was pretty impressive. In fact, I think the person figured they won the game because they exited it so quickly. But nonetheless, that's the reason why I'm playing this. It's not as good as, say, a Pyroclasm. Obviously, against Pyromancer decks, that's a much stronger play. But the flexibility that this card has gives you a little bit of options as well. Against other workshop decks, Rebuild is another option to have. This doesn't target, as opposed to Hurkyl's Recall, so when they board in Witchbane Orb, this gets around that. And finally, Toxic Deluge, one of to tutor for against the creature decks, so like Bugfish, Merfolk, Pyromancer decks, Delver, those types of things. This is a pretty powerful card if you can back that up with permission. So this is the deck that I'm going to be jamming, and hope you enjoy the matches.
Curious about the price of a Magic Online card? Try our searchable price guide on the right sidebar of any mtgoacademy.com page.
Okay, here we are for a vintage 2-man. We won the die roll, so let's see what we get. This opening hand is pretty good, so I'm going to keep this. Our opponent has mulligan down to 4 cards. Looks like we're playing Dredge. Yep. So this hand is not great against Dredge. So we have to try to be faster. So we can liberally throw these out here without any real risk. Let's see, I have got 5 mana. I have enough to cast all of these, so I might as well brainstorm. See what we get. Ooh, nice, Voltaic Key. Alright. So it's gonna be like this, huh? We're not gonna give them a turn. Triple white. Time Vault. Voltaic Key. And we're off to the races. Alright, so we managed to beat Dredge in game 1. That's pretty impressive. Let's see if we can match a similar amount of luck in the sideboard here. So we're going to bring in the Grafdigger's Cages, we're going to bring in the Spell Bomb, bring in these 2 Jailers, both of these Rakdos Charms. That's pretty much it. Get rid of Dak Faden, he's pretty bad in this matchup. Jace is probably also pretty bad in this matchup. He's just going to be slow. Let's see here. What else? Lightning Bolt is pretty terrible. So that gets us to 61. We gotta sideboard one more card. I'm thinking maybe one of these Dark Confidants. Yeah, that seems pretty reasonable. Okay, so this hand has no hate. Yeah, so this hand has no hate. We pretty much have to pitch this. It's just way too slow. Doesn't really do anything to stop them. So let's mulligan this. This hand is not as great. I mean, in fact, it's quite terrible. But it does have one hate card. Well, I don't really want to go down to 5. Ugh. Yeah, that's really rough. I mean, Tinker gives us some sort of inevitability, but I'm going to mull it to 5 here. Alright, well, this hand is even worse. Let's go to 4. Alright, we've got no mana. I guess we're keeping this one. Not doing anything, but Library of Alexandria. Well, that is interesting. I was not expecting that, and I don't think many of the Dark Depths decks have sideboard into Library, but maybe I'm wrong. Yep. Go right ahead. Alright, that's just weird. Discards Grave Troll. Alright, Mox Ruby doesn't really help much, but I will play it, as well as this Delta, which I'm going to use to try and thin my deck out, get something important. It's interesting. I've never seen library from a dredge deck. I mean, I guess it makes some sense. You know, you get to draw cards, but it's kind of a strange choice. So it looks like our opponent is playing the Sun Titan version. So I assume that this is going to be a Cabal Therapy. I've got 2 cards. I don't know what you're really looking for, but Gush. Well, no Gush in this deck. Alright, so let's try and thin this deck out a little bit here. Grab ourselves a Underground Sea since we have our Ruby there. And we end up drawing a land anyway. So let's play this Tolarian Academy. Since that's the one card that they do know. So, as unlikely as this game appeared well in the 3, it's looking even worse now. So they've got two Dread Return, 2 bridges, in addition to a bunch of other cards. So he's going heavy on the artifact hate with those Ingatures. And he also is playing with Mental Misstep, so that's worth noting. Alright. That was enough. I don't even want to look at what was on the top of my deck. That was about as bad as the first game went well. So let's see here. I mean, Spell Snare is kind of bad. I didn't see anything that would really kind of seem like a reasonable target for it. I suppose Jace is just strictly better. Lets us find some cards. Sure. Yep, I would like to play first. Let's see here. This opening hand is... This opening hand is not great. But I have a vampiric tutor to find something. He is playing with missteps though. I'm gonna mulligan that. He kept the 7 again. That's not a good sign. So I am going to play these 2 cards, and I think I am going to demonic tutor here. The question is, do I demonic tutor for time vault and hope to draw land? Well, I need to draw a couple, so I'm going to demonic tutor for a card that I can play that will stop him. I'm tempted to get Rakdos Charm. Yeah, I think I get Rakdos Charm because that's the only card that I know he probably won't play around. If I had a Tormod's Crypt, I would probably play that. But I'm going to play this Rakdos Charm here. It gets around pretty much everything that he might do. So it looks like they're going to play Bazaar and pass the turn. Alright, so we draw Dark Confidant. I'm not going to play that. Alright, so they pitch Dark Blast, Bridge from Below, and Bloodghast. Let's see if they dredge. So they dredged the Dark Blast. Alright, so they've got a Narcomoeba. I assume they're going to dredge Stinkweed Imp. Alright, so they have 3 bridges, huh? So he's got 3 bridges and a Cabal Therapy in his graveyard. Man, it's a tough call to... I think I have to. Simply because those 3 bridges are going to create a bunch of tokens, and I can't really afford that. I'm going to let this go because I doubt he's going to name a card that I have in my hand. And if he tries to sack the Narcomoeba to take something, I can then mental misstep that. Name's Time Vault. Well, he got close. Alright, so that's another mental misstep. I'm definitely going to get this Dark Confidant out here. Alright, let's see if he has any dredgers. Yep, he still had Stinkweed Imp, so he's still in good shape. I need to start drawing some mana sources here. Oh, he's got a second Bazaar. That's not good. Yeah, we didn't manage to get any earlier. Alright, well, he can Dread Return. Grave Troll, which wouldn't be the worst thing. It would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It would be pretty powerful. I'm surprised he didn't do that, though. I think I would have Dread returned. Ox Pearl, that's a mana source, and that is also a mana source, so that is pretty good for us here. Let's see. So I don't quite have enough mana to Yawgmoth's Will. But, yep. So I think we need to still draw some cards here. Alright, now we're in trouble. And we're 1 mana short of doing some damage. Yeah, so this Flamekin Zealot is going to be a problem. So I think we just need to survive this turn and hope one of the 2 cards on the top of our library is a mana source. Well, actually, I'm not sure we survive Flamekin Zealot. In fact, I'm quite confident we don't. So all those creatures would get 1/1, so that makes these guys, that's 4 damage. No, I don't want to cast for 2 life. What am I doing here? Cast for blue. So he should know my 2 cards, which is a little unfortunate. Hopefully he's hesitant to go for it here. Nope. So he's going to Dread Return here. I think that is enough to kill me, even with these little bridges. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 15. That's exactly lethal. So it's unfortunate we just could not draw any of the hate cards, which is pretty much how the Dredge matchup goes. Yeah, it happens, I guess. Alright, let's see if we can win the next.
Love playing Standard on Magic Online? Check out Academy's Standard Bot in the Magic Online Classifieds for Standard Singles.
Okay, here we are for another Vintage 2-man with Grixis control. This is a reasonable hand. We do not have an artifact to tinker for, nor do we have a black source for Dark Confidant, but I think that's a decent enough hand to keep because of the Brainstorm. Alright, so our opponent leads off with Scalding Tarn and Mox Sapphire, which is not the greatest for us, since that means that they could potentially have Mana Drain against us. So I am going to play this island. I'm going to pass the turn. So he's going to Brainstorm on my end step. I'm tempted to Brainstorm myself. Alright, so we draw 3 lands, which is pretty fine. Tolarian Academy is just bad, since we still don't have an artifact, so I'm going to put that back. And he's at 3 cards, so I'm going to misstep this Brainstorm. And it looks like he was depending on that. Oh, maybe not. Spoke a little too soon, so we had a Mox Jet. Alright, there's the Polluted Delta. We're going to try and jam this Dark Confidant right now. Grab ourselves an Underground Sea. And play Dark Confidant. Alright, let's see if they're playing with Lightning Bolt. Looks like they are. I would say we're 95% sure to be bolted here. Yep. So this is pretty clearly a Delver deck, which is ridiculously popular in the two main queues in the tournament practice room right now. The question is, do I counter that? And if I do want to counter that, which do I pitch, Tinker or Tezzeret? I suppose that both are equally good at winning the game. I am going to counter this, and I'm going to pitch Tezzeret and hope that maybe next turn I draw a artifact. And also hope he doesn't have a second lightning bolt. He has Time Walk, which is okay as long as he doesn't draw something to deal with Dark Confidant here. And looks like he didn't, so that's a good sign. Alright, Spell Pierce and a Lightning Bolt of our own, so let's play this Dark Confidant. Hopefully he doesn't have a Snapcaster Mage. He doesn't, so we get 2 damage in, and we'll pass the turn. Alright, so opponent is just going to pass the turn again. Alright, it's a Voltaic Key and a Ponder. Let's play this Underground Sea and Ponder. Mental Misstep. There's not a whole lot I can really do about that. My Spell Pierce is not going to stop that. Interestingly enough, they did not pay blue mana for that. Which leads me to think that he has Mana Drain in his hand. Alright, Mox Pearl and an island. So, I have Spell Pierce up for a Mana Drain, so I feel pretty confident at this point right now. So I am going to tap both of those, sacrifice this Mox Pearl, and see if I can bait out this Mana Drain that I'm fairly confident is in his hand. Yep. Nope. Alright, so that worked. Let's play our Inkwell Leviathan, and we're going to pass attack and then pass the turn, since we're going to need that 2 damage to be able to win next turn. Alright, so we got game 1. So against this deck, we are going to want to bring in Flusterstorm and Pyroblast. We're going to take out Dak Faden, because if they were playing a... I suppose they could be playing the Mirror. I didn't see any creatures. I'm going to actually leave Dak in. I'm going to take out 1 Lightning Bolt, and I'm going to take out I think I'll take out kind of want to leave in those. I want to take out a Jace, because if he's playing with lightning bolts, Jace is not that great. Alright, so this hand is pretty good. 2 missteps and a mystical tutor to go and get ancestral recall. So alright, so our opponent just plays Misty and passes the turn. Time Walk is also a nice card to have drawn there. Play an Underground Sea and just pass the turn. Well, looks like he's going to try and jam something here. I guess not. Okay. Maybe he's got a bunch of land in his hand. Fast Bond. Well, that isn't going to happen. I am going to Mystical Tutor, though. So he's going to cast Fluster Storm, huh? Well, not going to get around that. That's fine. He wasted a Fluster Storm on a card that really isn't that important. Let's see what we draw. Well, could just pass the turn and do nothing. He has 4 cards, but I think it might just be better to Time Walk here. And hope it doesn't turn into a cantrip. Well, Mox Sapphire isn't great, but at least gets us the ability to Snapcaster here. So I'm going to Pyroblast this Time Walk. Alright. The question is, do I use Vampiric Tutor? What would I have Vampiric Tutor for? I don't think there's anything I really Vampiric Tutor for now. Dark Confidant was a pretty good draw. I will not lie. That was a pretty good draw for us. So, yeah, I think our opponent was mana flooded when he cracked his Misty Rainforest before his second turn. So we've got a Trigon Predator. That's not too bad because we can we can Pyroblast that guy. Ouch, Force of Will kind of hurt. So let's just go Pyroblast him now. I don't see any reason to not do so, because we're about to we are about to start losing our mana here if we don't. This Trigon will eat us alive. Alright, so we got rid of that threat, and we'll attack with Dark Confidant. So in my intro video, if you listened to that, you might have recognized that I mentioned the fact that Dark Confidant was a pretty critical card, even in this type of a matchup where 2 damage starts to add up. Now, he's got Fastball in his graveyard, but see, like now he can go and go get potentially Black Lotus if he's already got Yogg Will in his hand, or he can go and get that now. So that, you know, those are the types of things that you know, that deck can kind of come back from pretty quickly, especially because Yawgmoth's Will is such a powerful card. So it looks like he Demonic Tutored for Ancestral Recall, which I'm just going to misstep here. I mean, I think that was his best move. Perfect. We drew a Volcanic Island and a Brainstorm. So we're going to attack for 4. Bring him down to 13. And we're going to pass the turn. Pluto Delta, that's perfect. 2 more lands. Let's attack again. And we'll pass the turn again. Alright, so they're going to try and cast Gifts Ungiven. I think I just Force of Will this. I'm hesitant to Brainstorm because I really don't want to miss. I mean, there's not a significantly super high count of blue spells in this deck. I mean, it's theoretically possible I can miss on it, so I'm just going to hard cast. I'm just going to hard cast Force of Will here. I am tapped out though, so this does give him an opening where he is actually going to Vampiric Tutor, which is wow. So he's drawn pretty much every card he could have used to get out of this so far. He's drawn both tutors. He drew a Gifts Ungiven. So I assume Snapcaster Mage to get Ancestral Recall, I would imagine. Alright, well. There's still a chance that we can get through here. Alright. So we didn't... Oh, that was bad. I should have Brainstormed there. I'm going to Brainstorm now, though, even though I should have done it last turn. Okay, let's see. So I can. So if I get Jace, I just bounce this Snapcaster Mage. Don't need a second Dark Confidant, and I can just draw this Scalding Tarn. So I'm at 7. If I can Demonic Tutor to. I don't want any of those cards, so I'm going to just Jace here. I'll go get a Volcanic Island, and I'm going to leave up Vampiric Tutor mana here. I guess I could. I don't want to bounce it, that's for sure. So I think I'm just going to plus Jace here. Put this card on the bottom. No, you can have that card. I'm going to attack with both of these guys. I've got Yawgmoth's Will, so next turn I can pretty much do as I please. Alright, so he's going to draw a land. Oh, he's another Snapcaster Mage. Unreal. Wow. Alright. So he's going to Time Walk. Yikes. I guess I Vampiric Tutor now. Actually, no. I'm going to undo that. Because I don't want him to know that he can attack me as opposed to Jace. He didn't attack that turn. I think that was a mistake for him. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was a mistake. Alright, you've got yourself a Jace. Okay, you return my Dark Confidant. And you're attacking my Jace, that's fine. Alright, the question is, do I Vampiric Tutor, and what do I Vampiric Tutor for? If I Vampiric Tutor for Time Vault, I can Yawgmoth's Will, that's 1, 2, 3. That gives me not quite enough to survive, especially if he has a Lightning Bolt. Oh, it can still Jace. Alright, I'm going to give this a whirl here. This is a little bit of a risk. I don't know, maybe he counters it. He may just counter it. Flusterstorm. Alright. I mean, I was hesitant to cast it. I mean, it might... I don't know. I suppose that was worth it. Alright, Mox Emerald, that helps. Misstep in Mana Drain, and oh, there's a Time Vault already needed. Okay, great. So, Dark Confidant, go away. Dak Fading, go away. Cast Mox Emerald. Cast Time Vault. Cast Demonic Tutor. I think we're going to win this one. Voltaic Key. And it looks like we're in good shape here. Alright, we won the match. So, see you for the next round.
If you'd like to purchase Magic Online cards with event tickets while logged in on Magic Online, look at MTGO Academy's selection by trading our official bot, Academy Sellbot. You can find it in the Magic Online trading area or add it to your buddy list.
Okay, here we are for a vintage 8-man event. Our hand is... it's interesting. We lost the die roll, but if we can survive a turn, depending on what the opponent we play, we might be able to play Dak Fading with Spell Pierce backup, or a Jace. So I'm going to keep this. We'll see what happens. Alright, so they lead off with a Misty Rainforest. We draw Tezzeret. So Tezzeret doesn't really change too much. Dak will allow us to pitch a couple of these extra lands, maybe, since he doesn't have an artifact. Or you could just try and turn one Jace. I think it might be better... The only way to play Dak and Spell Pierce would be to play Delta and Lotus. It won't be the best use of mana, but I'm interested to see how this will work. A Dak into an empty board against kind of an unknown opponent right now. So red, triple blue, Dak. Alright, well, Dak's stuck. So let's draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards. Alright, Mox Pearl is fine. I'm going to pitch 1 island, and I suppose Tezzeret is like not as versatile. Alright, I'm definitely not casting that anytime soon, I don't believe, so I'm gonna go with that. I'm going to pass the turn. Fully expect an Ancestral Recall here. Brainstorm. Brainstorm is not as good as Ancestral Recall when they don't have a fetch land, so I'm perfectly fine with this. Well, there's their fetch land, so they can only get rid of one of those cards. Red, blue, young Pyromancer. That is not going to happen. I suppose it's... I'm going to get rid of the Spell Pierce. Well, they've got a force of their own. So, yet again, another Pyromancer deck. I've seen absolutely nothing but these decks the last couple of days. It is what it is. I mean, it's a powerful deck. This might not be the best way to go. All right, well, let's get rid of Underground Sea and Island, and we'll cast Jace. We don't really have anything better to do with our mana, so now the question is, do we Fate Seal or do we bounce the Young Pyromancer? I mean, if he's got a Gush, then that's a pretty poor use of a bounce effect. So I'm just going to start ticking up Jace here. I'm going to put that second Young Pyromancer on the bottom. And we'll pass the turn. Demonic Tutor. Okay, well, that's a problem. He's going to go and get Gush, presumably. Or he's going to go grab Fastbond if he already has Gush. Well, he wouldn't be able to cast Fastbond, so I guess he's probably going to go for Gush. Or Ancestral Recall, that's pretty good too. So he's going to attack Jace. I'm okay with that. So, so we draw a Tolarian Academy. Alright, let's... So the interesting interaction with Dak and Jace is that you can dig 5 cards with Dak by activating Dak first and then activating Jace. That really only helps if you've got a couple of cards already in your hand, because activating Dak first, say, like in the instance we have right now, we only have a Tolarian Academy, which we don't really need, but we have to draw 2 cards and hope that you know, one of those 2 cards is worth keeping, and not both. And then you brainstorm with Jace, and then you can actually get cards. So if you brainstorm with Jace first, you just put 2 cards back on the top, and then you have to draw them again with Dax. So you only see 3 cards, and you have to, you have to basically discard them. So you're not really gaining a whole lot from that point of view. But I think at this point, we're pretty much the only thing we can really do is activate Dak first. All right. Mock Sapphire and Tolarian Academy are probably going to have to go. Snapcaster Mage is fine as a blocker, so I'm just going to get rid of those 2 guys. And I'm going to... Whoops. I'm not going to do that. I am going to draw 3 cards and put 2 back. Alright. That was a pretty good draw, I think. So we want to keep... We don't need the Mox Jet. Per se. So if I Ancestral, I get both of those and then draw another card. But if Ancestral doesn't stick, then I want to have Snapcaster available. So I'm going to keep that one in my hand. Alright, so those all stuck. So we'll play Mox Jet here. We'll play Scalding Tarn. And we'll play Dark Confidant. So we're in pretty good shape here still, I think. He's got 5 cards, but we got a couple of Planeswalkers here. I can Snapcaster back Ancestral Recall. The reason why I didn't do that in the upkeep is that he has Mana Drain mana up, so I want to wait until he taps out here. It's true. Yeah, Preordained's tough. Yeah, I think I'm going to go for it now. I want to grab, I guess I want to grab Volcanic Island just in case. Well, I guess it really doesn't matter too much. Blue, colorless. Just hope he doesn't have Mana Drain here. Alright, so he doesn't. And we're going to be able to Snapcaster back Recall here. Ouch. Alright, well, it is what it is. Nope, can't pay 2. So we're pretty much done here. I'm going to just hit F6. Didn't quite work out the way we had hoped it would, but we can at least protect Jace this turn. So he's just going to kill Jace. That's not too bad. I mean, I'd like to have Jace, but I still think we're in a good position here. Unless he plays Fast Bond. Oh boy. Well, so he's attacking Dak with both of those guys. Okay. Wait a second. It looks like I totally missed the block. Okay. Well, that didn't work out the way I wanted it to. Alright, mental misstep and lightning bolt. Alright, well, I think that is... That's good. He's got only 2 cards. I can get rid of this really annoying young pyromancer here, which I think I'm just going to go do it at right now. Presume he's going to gush, but he doesn't. Okay, that's good. Now, I think the only thing we can really do here is to continue ticking up Dag Fade and hope we draw into like a Yawgmoth's Will or something. Alright, well, discard both of those cards then, and I guess we'll pass the turn. I mean, there's no sense in really attacking. I wanted to use Snapcaster Mage to block last turn, but that's okay. Dak would be at 6, but I guess it doesn't matter. He's just going to pile out some cards. I am going to counter that with this mental misstep. Do not want him to be able to control the top of his library and get one of the cards off the top of his deck that might help him. So he's going to attack with everybody. That's fine. I will block 1. So he attacked Dak. That's interesting. Ugh. Man. Inkwell, really? Alright, so we've got 6 mana. That is 3 short of casting Inkwell Leviathan. So I guess we just time walk here. Now the question is, do I tick up Dak? I think I do. Still want to get, you know, oh, Yawgmoth's Will. That's exactly what I want. That is exactly what I wanted. So this turn, I guess I don't want to do it on this turn. So I'm going to attack a Dark Confidant. Oh my goodness, Force of Will, come on. Alright, Yawgmoth's Will it is. Alright, let's make this sideboard a little bit bigger. We can play Black Lotus. We can play Tolarian Academy. We can... So if we play Tezzeret, we play Time Walk again. Oh, sorry, I can play Mox Sapphire here. That's pretty good. I discarded that before. So I can... Alright, so I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to Lightning Bolt. Alright, let's tap this for 5. I'm going to Lightning Bolt my Dark Confidant. going to play Tezzeret. I'm going to use Tezzeret to get Time Vault. Oops. Didn't want to do 3, but that's alright. Alright. Now I can Time Walk. And let's see, what else can I do? I can play Jace. Triple blue. Blue. Let's brainstorm. Alright, Tinker is useless. Since his Divining Top is not that particularly good right now. Don't want any of those cards, so I'm just going to pass the turn, but I'll get my extra turn after that. So we're in decent shape here. Nope, I do not want to do that. Upkeep. Is going to Nature's Claim. Well, luckily for me, I have a Force of Will in my hand. Alright. So I've used a ton of clock here, so I've got to really hurry up. Tinker, goodbye. Dark Confidant, goodbye. Demonic Tutor. Alright, let's go and grab something that can help win this game. I don't really have any... Oh, there's Snapcaster Mage. Alright. Snapcaster Mage, blue... Lightning Bolt. Lightning Bolt to your face. Red. Draw 2 cards, discard 2 cards. Goodbye. Goodbye. Play that. Alright. Main phase. No. I'm going to run out of clock here. I'm not even sure what I would be digging for here. So this guy is being quite nice and making me play this out. That's his prerogative. I'm gonna just finish goofing around here. No. I need 5. Okay, so next turn I can attack for lethal. Nope. Alright. So we managed to win, but we're losing the time battle. So we're going to bring in Flusterstorm, we're going to bring in Pyroblast, we are going to bring in Grafdigger's Cages, we're going to bring in these Rakdos Charms. I do like those against this type of a deck. Actually, I'm not sure about the Grafdigger's Cages. I'm going to take those out. Still need to get down to 4 cards. So I am going to get rid of 1 Bob. I'm going to get rid of a Spell Pierce, because Flusterstorm I guess is strictly better. I'll get rid of 1 Jace. I'm going to get rid of this Dak. I don't think they have a Tinkerbot in their deck. Alright, this hand is pretty bad. I'm going to mulligan this. This hand is not quite as good, but I'm going to keep this. Sol Ring is fine. Let's see what we draw. Black Source. Black Source. Not a Black Source. Alright. Volcanic Island. Mox Emerald. Black Lotus. And I might as well just do this. Oh, come on. There's only 3 mana there. Why would that make me do that? Alright. Let's see how this works. If I had more time on the clock, I probably wouldn't have played the Dark Confidant, but at this point, I need to win, so go ahead, you can strip mine there. That's fine with me. Young Pyromancer, sure thing. Got the misstep, that's fine. Well, so I will play this, and I'm going to attack. See if he wants to trade. Oh, he does. Alright. I wasn't getting rid of that card anytime soon, so I'm okay with that. Ancestral Recall. I have to cast for 2 life that. He knew I had a misstep. I don't know why he would... I don't know why he would do that. So I'm going to Mystical for my own recall. There's my recall. Boom. To draw some cards. Not really much of what I wanted. I made a mistake there. I should have played the Polluted Delta so I could go get a red source. A little bit of a misclick as I'm rushing to get things going here because the clock is certainly against me. Young Pyromancer. Okie dokie. Mental Misstep. Very nice. I don't know if you were holding off for that, but that was pretty good. Ox Pro, not gonna help me. I'm gonna sandbag these lands here. Maybe it makes them think a little bit. I am perfectly fine with that mana crypt. I assume you want to hardcast Jace and leave some mana up, huh? I guess you're leaving up Spell Pierce mana? I guess. I don't know. Playing around Spell Pierce. Alright, well. Force Will sort of helps us, but it doesn't really. I could use some help here. Nope, didn't win any help there. I just realized I did not board in Toxic Deluge. That was a big mistake. Time Walk. So he's going to snap back Ancestral Recall. Okay. Inkwell Leviathan. I do not have enough mana to cast that. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But I am pretty much dead. I don't know what I could draw to fix this. And he won the flip again, so that's pretty much the nail in the coffin here. So he's going to attack for 6. I guess it doesn't even matter. He's going to get a token, and let's just win more at this point, I think. Alright, I don't want to lose any more clock, so I'm just going to concede here. There wasn't anything I could have drawn, really, so can't afford to lose any more clock. Yeah, the Toxic Deluge has to come in. I suppose I could have top decked a Rakdos Charm. If he had only lost a couple flips. I think that would have been probably the only way that I could have won. So I got to take out a card here, I guess. He's got a full suite of missteps, so I think I just don't really want to bother with the ponder there. Let's see, this opening hand is not going to be able to cast Dark Confidant, but I'm going to keep this. I can hopefully get the mana to do that. Alright. So it's a reasonable start. If I can just get a black mana source, I'll be happy. Somebody's going to fire off a recall. Oh. Or maybe he's going to try and tinker. Sol Ring is fine. Young Pyromancer. Yep, that is not going to happen. Alright. Oh, I just clicked through this. That was bad. Well, I wasn't getting the black source that I wanted anyway, so this is a little frustrating. I don't have a black or red source for Rakdos Charm, so I guess yikes, this is bad. This is bad. I don't think we're going to be able to win this. Alright, we lost the flip. That helps. Alright. Let's look at the third card now. Yawgmoth's Will is not going to help us either. So this one, this one, this one. We are not drawing well here. So we won that flip. Alright, looks like he's just going to pass the turn. Alright. Come on, black source. Ugh. Well, Flusterstorm at least does something. So, Yawgmoth's Will, Island, Flusterstorm. Nope. Alright, he lost the flip again. Still a long way to go before that comes back to help us, but I don't know, he hasn't done anything, so... Alright, Scalding Tarn, that's what I'm looking for. No, I do not want to do that. Scalding Tarn, thank you. Underground Sea. Dark Confidant. Go. It actually stuck, huh? Wow. He won the flip again. That's, I think, 3 out of 4 or 2 for 2. He was 2 for 2. Okay, let's see what is on the top of our library here. Oh, well, Tinker helps. And none of these... Oh, I could Force of Will it, but I think I'd rather... Let's go Demonic Tutor, Tinker, Force of Will. And that will work. I'll let that young Pyromancer go. He's not a threat. Since I'm going to try and empty the Warrens, huh? Well, I clicked through the opportunity to Flusterstorm that. That wasn't very good. Oh, I need to reorganize. Whoa, that would have been bad. I need to reorganize the top of my cards here. Demonic Tutor, Force of Will, Tinker. Let's go with that one. Nope, no replacement effect. So I got Tinker and I got Force of Will. So I'm going to sacrifice, cancel. Now I am going to sacrifice this Mox Pearl and I'm going to Tinker for Inkwell Leviathan. Okay. And I'll use the opportunity to look at my top of my library. Jace, Mox Ruby, Tezzeret. I guess I want to draw Tezzeret next turn. So I'm going to attack here with Dark Confidant, just to drop him down, or at least grab a Goblin along the way. Which might be relevant. If he loses the flip, oh man, I could have really used that. That would have knocked him down to 8. Snapcaster Mage. I think I just Force of Will. Let me look at the top of my cards again. Alright, I have to reorganize it to Jace, Tezzeret, Mox Ruby. That way I don't die to Dark Confidant. So he had a Force of his own. Alright, you get a token. Oh, I got the Mox Ruby coming up from Rakdos Charm, so I'm in good shape. So I go to 9. Nope, I don't want a replacement effect. I will draw Mox Ruby. That will not do me any damage. And I'm going to... Each creature deals 1 damage to its controller. Black, red, Rakdos Charm you for lethal. Game is ended. Alright, we won again.